Welcome friends to Talk Turkey with Casa Viva. We are a boutique real estate agency based out of Istanbul. We understand Turkey and real estate in Turkey better than anybody else. I'm your host Aman. I've been getting several questions from you guys with regards to real estate in Turkey and more specifically in Istanbul. Of late I've been getting this question of whether it's a good investment to make in a real estate in Istanbul or is real estate investment in Istanbul a trap. I decided to make this video today so that we could objectively look at this entire idea of making an investment in Istanbul. How do you evaluate whether any city is worthwhile as far as investment in real estate is concerned? We could be emotional about it and say that I really like a particular city and therefore I want to make an investment. Or alternatively, we could dive in deep and look at things objectively. In this video, I will try to be as objective as possible and try to evaluate every element that I feel is important that goes on to make a good real estate investment. And we will try to look at it more from the perspective of Istanbul, obviously. However, also from the perspective of Turkey, because the city of Istanbul is embedded within Turkey. So without further ado, let's start. Very important is any city that you're wanting to make an investment. How is it located? How is the location in terms of the rest of the world, trade, commerce, accessibility, and so on and so forth. Keeping this in mind, I need not say or try to sell you Istanbul a lot. This is a city unlike any other in the world which straddles two continents. You have Europe on one side, you've got Asia on the other side. You've got Russia right above you and North Africa just under you. Middle East is also just a stone's throw away, which effectively puts this city in the center of the world. So after location, one of the most important parameters to judge the importance and relevance of a city is the infrastructure of the city. How well is the city connected with the rest of the cities in the country and with the rest of the world for that matter. Also, there are several other aspects of infrastructure that we will speak about. So let's start with the international connectivity. Istanbul is serviced by two international airports, the Sabiha Gökçen Airport in the Anatolian side of Istanbul and the recently opened up Istanbul International Airport on the European side of Istanbul. Istanbul International Airport is a gigantic project, one of its kind, the largest airport in Europe and one of the busiest airports in the world with 64 million passengers traveling through it every year and services to over 114 countries. It puts you in connect with the rest of the world with absolute ease. If you'd understand, along with the air connectivity is the connectivity via sea. Istanbul is a maritime city and is very well connected through trade routes all across Europe, Asia, Africa, or wherever else that you'd want to go. The Bosphorus Strait essentially connects the Aegean Sea with the Black Sea and therefore opens up trade and commerce with the entire Russian continent and countries such as the Balkan countries and Romania, Bulgaria, and the rest of them. So both air and sea connectivity is phenomenal. Clubbed with this, the road connectivity, as you already know, a part of Istanbul is in Europe and therefore connectivity to other Eastern European countries such as Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, Balkan countries is super easy. Next on the card is the intercity connectivity within the country. Istanbul is very well connected with almost every city in Turkey. So be it Ankara, be it Izmir, Bursa, Çanakkale, Antalya, you've got a fantastic network of road that connects you to every part of Turkey. As important as the intercity connectivity is the intra-city connectivity. How's the public transport within the city? Istanbul ranks at one of the best as far as modes of transport within the city are concerned. You have metro, you have Marmaray rail, you have metro buses, you've got intercity buses, you've got intra-city buses, you've got mini buses, you have ferry boats, ferry terminals, trams, funicular, you name it, and that mode of transport is available for you across Istanbul. Effectively meaning that connecting point A to point B is super efficient and super effective, so to say. Very important part of the infrastructure is the educational infrastructure, which is very robust in Istanbul. Both starting from public schools, which are fantastic. If you look at the public school infrastructure, it can parallel any private school anywhere else in the world. Along with the public schools are international schools and private schools, which add to the very flavor of schooling in Istanbul. So there are plenty of options for you. Clubbed with this is the higher education. You've got some of the best universities. You have universities such as the Istanbul University, Medipol for medical education. You have Yeditepe University, Acıbadem University, Marmara University. The list is endless and the options are just phenomenal. What it effectively translates into is a very well educated and technically trained youth which is available to be employed. As far as the health infrastructure is concerned, again, Istanbul Istanbul ranks right up there. Needless to say, Istanbul is known for its medical tourism. You would already know that people from across Europe, Russia, Middle East and Africa travel to Istanbul for their treatments. It is very well known for all the aesthetic treatment, dental treatment, hair implants, a lot of intricate medical surgeries. You have a huge list of medical services which are very well affordable medical services that are offered at Istanbul. You have chain of hospitals such as Florence Nightingale, Acıbadem, Medicana and so on and so forth that are brand in themselves and offer the state-of-art health infrastructure. The public health infrastructure is equally good here, and especially if you are a citizen of Turkey or a resident of Turkey, both the education as well as health is practically free for you. Education right up to high school and medical in all the public medical infrastructure is absolutely free for you as a citizen, and as a resident obviously it's super subsidized. Also very important is the banking network. Istanbul has a extremely well developed banking sector with very strong nationalized banks, very strong local players along with a lot of international players as well. Especially now with the Istanbul International Finance Center that is coming up, Istanbul is poised to present itself as an alternate to a lot of other financial centers such as London, Hong Kong, Singapore and so on and so forth, New York. So Istanbul in the days to come, thanks to the Istanbul International Finance Center, is going to try and bid for that space in the financial sector. So though we are talking about Istanbul as a city, but Istanbul as a city is embedded in Turkey as a country. So when we talk about economy and trade, we cannot speak in isolation. So therefore it is imperative that we look at how is the Turkish economy performing and how large is the economy. So Turkish economy is the 10th largest economy basis the GDP of the country. Also basis the last quarter result, it is growing at a rate of 5.96%, and that's a very healthy rate considering how the other economies across the world are performing. Why is the economy in Turkey consistently performing so well? Turkey is a huge manufacturing base. For all the European countries, this is the go-to manufacturing place. Turkey manufactures a lot of automobile and automobile parts, white goods, a lot of electronics, everything that you can think of, right from a pin to plane and now drone is being manufactured in Turkey. Traditionally also, Turkey has been a textile manufacturing center. Now that textile has gone to ready-made garments. So high quality ready-made garments also contributes significantly to the economic prosperity in Turkey. Furniture is another industry which is really done well, and high quality furniture sourced from Istanbul. Istanbul has a very large center which is only dedicated to the exports of furniture made in Turkey to the rest of the world. So Istanbul being a maritime city, shipping has always been very important line of business in Istanbul. So if you look at the shipping industry, it is centered around Istanbul. Add to that the construction industry and construction materials for that matter. The amount of construction that happened in and around Istanbul should take a lion's pie out of what has happened in Turkey. And obviously that lends itself to a stronger economy in Turkey in general, and obviously Istanbul's contribution to that. Also, if you would look at how the overall economy performs and where the center or the fulcrum of this is, it is all centered at Istanbul. Next parameter that I'd like to discuss is the strength of the domestic market and the population. If you'd understand, Turkey as a country has a population of around 90 million people, of which 20 million people reside in Istanbul. The sheer magnitude and the percentage of people residing in Istanbul makes Istanbul a mini country in itself if you were to take Turkey as a reference point. This propels a very strong domestic demand. If you'll understand, in real estate, less than 5% of real estate in Istanbul and across Turkey for that matter is sold to international buyers. 95% of real estate is consumed by the locals here. Now this is very important not only for real estate but for any consumption across any industry. So the next parameter is going to be tourism. So obviously this tourism boom is a blessing for Turkey. Turkey as a country has always been a touristic destination, and a lion's share of that has always been with Istanbul. What that does is it not only propels the local economy here but also gets in a lot of foreign flavor. A lot of investors get exposed to the real estate here in Istanbul in particular and end up making an investment, if not today, probably later down the line. No market is a good market for any investment, leave aside real estate, if there is no stability in governance. Stability in governance is one of the most critical things, and it is not just stability in governments, it's also the outlook of the government. Fortunately for Turkey, there has been a consistent government for the last 20 years, and this government has been very progressive. If you look at the kind of development that we've talked about in this video, all of that is thanks to the vision and consistency of this government. If you would understand how a foreigner can come to this country, open up a tax number, open up a bank account, buy a property, register that property in his own name, start a company, and so on and so forth, you would understand that the process is really simplified. What it effectively means is the entire outlook of the government is a pro-investment by foreigners into this country. This is a very big element, as a lot of other countries which may be very ripe for making an investment may not have a very supportive government and outlook and policies to do so. Next on the card is safety. So though Istanbul is very large metropolis and comes with its own share of small crimes and so on and so forth, but if you were to look at the larger picture, you would understand that it's a very safe place, and that again adds to the confidence in the city. So in the video so far, we've spoken about all parameters that I feel are very important to understand whether a city is right for investment, a destination is right for investment or not. We started with location, we went to the various infrastructures, right from road, rail infrastructure to the infrastructure in terms of education, the medical and health setup, to banking and so on and so forth. We spoke about the robustness of economy, we spoke about the kind of trade and business that is prospering, and we spoke about the strength of the domestic market and the population. We also spoke about safety and ease of doing business and consistency of government and so on and so forth. So what it all boils down to is that Istanbul is a great place to make an investment, but make an investment at what price is something that also needs to be understood. So if Istanbul is truly an international metropolis, the way we understand it to be, then it should compare itself in terms of the real estate prices with the rest of the larger metropolises. So therefore, let's look at some data points, and I'm sure that that will be a good food for thought. One of the most expensive pieces of real estate is in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is roughly priced around $25,000 a square meter, followed by Singapore, which is around $18,000 a square meter. And then you have several cities like London and Paris, which are roughly around $11,500, $12,000 a square meter. Smaller places like Medellin in Colombia are around $1,700 a square meter. Istanbul, on the other hand, is at mere $1,300 a square meter. So if I were to say that a city which has everything right in terms of infrastructure, in terms of future potential, the strength of the economy, the local consumption, and so on and so forth, everything that we discussed in the video, and it is still priced at 1/10 and 1/15 of some other equally comparable cities, I believe the real estate in Istanbul is a steal. And keeping that in mind, I would like to conclude that it is definitely not a trap. It's a golden opportunity to make an investment in Istanbul. However, let me also end the video with a caution that every piece of investment needs to be evaluated. So though Istanbul as a city is a great investment, you would need to understand what suburb, what project, and what developer and what opportunity you are investing in, and obviously play it safe and take an educated decision. I hope this entire conversation, this entire talk has been of some use to you. If you like this content, I am sure that you will like more content that we are making on this channel, and therefore I would request you to like, subscribe and share so that we could come out with more videos that would help you make constructive investment decisions. And thanks for watching in, and goodbye for now.